If you're watching this, it's because you've made a choice. A choice to spend some time with some really special children in our community. Some kids who might have had some hard times recently and could use a little extra compassion in how we care for them. I'm going to walk you through some really practical tools and tips and how to provide a mindfully proactive environment and some really compassionate responses in how we care for these children so that you can have the very best possible experience with them that you could. So I'm going to start off by reading a letter that could come from any child in this sort of experience here, just to give you a little bit of their perspective and where they might be coming from. It says, "Dear adult taking care of me, I'm a child just like any other child, but my story is very different than many other kids I know. I want you to know that my life has changed in many ways that I did not cause and I did not ask for. I've experienced many disruptions, changes, and disappointments that I did not know were happening, and I could not do anything to stop. I have a lot of strong feelings, and I have good reasons for having them. I often feel scared, and when I do, I often try to get in control. This is because in the past, I sometimes had to take control in order to stay safe. I've also trusted people who have let me down. Because of that, I often feel the need to protect myself, or else bad things will happen. A lot of times, people see my behaviors and think that I'm a bad kid, or say I'm trying to manipulate. What they don't know is that the things I do most mostly come when I feel scared, sad, or even angry. And I try to do anything I can to feel safe again. Please understand that I'm trying my best. I'm learning all the time, and what I need most of the time is someone to understand my feelings and help me through those hard and scary times. Sometimes it helps if someone just plays with me to help me get through the moment. Other times I need some space. Even when I want space, I want to know that you're still there and that you still care for me. Thank you for all that you do. Even when I don't have the words to say thank you, I hope you see it in my eyes, my smiles, and how safe I feel with you. Sincerely, a child." So we're going to start off by looking at the states of the brain. This will help you understand sometimes what's going on inside a child's mind and their body and their experience when they're interacting with you, and give you a little bit of a frame of reference to know how to respond to the different states that the brain can get into. The first one, this is a color-coded model. Dr. Dan Siegel has done a lot of research around how the brain works and what the states are, and Dr. Becky Bailey came up with this great color-coded system, so you don't have to remember a lot of the real technical words that are in there. So we'll just use the colors as we're going through here. The green brain, this is the upper part of the brain, the frontal lobe. This is the thinking state. This is where the really hard working parts of the brain that are around logic and language and problem solving live. It loves to figure things out and solve problems and look at the world in a new way. And when everything is calm and good, you can access this part of the brain really readily and very much at the time. Down below that is the blue brain, the limbic region there. The blue brain is the feeling state. This is the emotional part of the brain, the part that's involved in connection and attachment, but also feels anger and rage and frustration and sadness. It's less of a workhorse than the green brain is. It's very strong and powerful, but it doesn't quite have as many of the technical skills that the green brain does. So it does its job very well in feeling the feelings, but doesn't do the work that the green brain would do to make sense of them. The red brain, the brain stem, this is the automatic response that the brain will go into when the emotions cue the person in that this is an unsafe situation. And it just has to perceive that it's unsafe. It doesn't have to be actually in any threat of danger, although if the threat of danger is there, it will go immediately to the red brain. But when a child feels unsafe, a lot of times they go into that red brain survival state. And you'll know this is happening when you lose eye contact and the actions are really big and there's not a whole lot of words that are happening there. Green brain's got lots and lots of words and can solve problems. Blue brain has less words, and the words that are there are sometimes not always so nice. The red brain has almost no words at all and is very action oriented and is doing one of three things, either moving a person to fight, flight, or freeze. Dan Siegel has a great hand model that he uses with this to show the different parts of the brain. The green brain, the thinking brain, would be your fingers up here, and the blue brain would be your thumb, the limbic part, the feeling brain, and the wrist would be the brain stem. So let me show you what's going on in the mind of a child. If all is well and good, the brain is all working together, the brain feels safe, and the person feels like they're not in any sort of threat. The emotions that they feel they can make sense of and act upon appropriately using the green brain. That's an integrated brain. When a child feels or a human being feels stressed, they do what Dan Siegel calls flipping our lid. We lose access to our thinking brain and we're left with feeling and survival to get through these challenging moments. That blue brain, um, it's gonna say, "Wow, I'm feeling a lot right now," and a lot of times it says things like, "This isn't fair. This isn't safe. This isn't right. This isn't good." What that part of the brain needs more than anything else is to feel connected, to feel known, and to feel understood. So the message that you can send when you notice that a child may be in that blue brain state is, "I hear you. I know that it's hard. You're doing the best that you can right now. I'm here with you. Let's maybe look at your choices." The blue brain it can't do the big brainstorming problem solving. It might need like one or two choices. Hey, we could do this or we could do this, which works best for you. And giving a child two positive, doable choices when they're in that emotional state is sometimes enough to say, "Oh, you get me. You understand how I feel, and you're helping me find a good way out of this." And that the lid kind of comes back down. When the blue brain is overwhelmed and the child moves into fight or flight, they need more than anything at that point safety. They need to know that they are safe and that they are protected. Um, that's the need of the red brain. So, what you can do if a child is in that state is three really important things: stay calm, be assertive, and be positive. Any of those without the other will signal to the red brain that this is maybe not a safe situation, right? But if you're recognizing a child is in that fight or flight and you come at them, you breathe, you're calm, you're letting them know you know the plan, you are safe, you are someone who can be trusted. Then you're going to show them the plan. You're not even going to give them choices at this point. This is where the assertiveness comes in. You might tell them, "Whoa, wow, you're feeling so frustrated right now. Take a deep breath with me, like this." They need to see it. Their language processing is probably a little off at that point too. So watching you do that with them can be super helpful. But they also need to know that you're being positive. If you're being, assertive, but you're not believing the best in them, they're going to pick up on that as well. So you'll need to be positive. You're believing they're doing the best that they can. They've had some hard times. Their brains may be, their lids may be flipped and they've lost access to their skills, and again, for some good reasons. So stay calm, assertive, and positive. Show them that you are the one that they can trust. That will communicate to that state of the brain, "You're safe. I'm with you. I've got a plan. Follow me. Let's get there." Then the blue brain, if you let them know that they're understood, "I hear you. I see that this is frustrating for you. It's hard. I'm with you. We can do this. Let's go." Then you access that green brain and you're ready to roll, ready to do whatever you need to do to get back into that moment of where you're going to go next. So those are the brain states. So we're going to really focus on some tools and some tips to soothe those lower parts of the brain, to provide connection and provide safety for any children you may be interacting with. So we're going to start off with these proactive tips. So some ways that you can be mindful of your surroundings and provide connection and safety for children. And the first one is just by being positive with them, keeping a positive mindset. There's Dr. Ross Green has this great phrase, kids do well if they can, which means they're doing the best they can given their circumstances, and they might be missing some skills in that moment to get through. So using that as your frame of reference, that this is not about a child just acting out or being oppositional. This is a kid who has maybe had some hard things happen and is responding the best they can to keep themselves safe in that moment. So believing the best in that child is a mindset switch. It's a positive shift in your mindset and how you're engaging with that child that can be helpful. They pick up on it. They feel the positivity that you're putting towards them, and that helps them feel soothed in that blue brain state. The next thing is just keep your calm. Um, Kids have less connection between the green brain and the blue brain and the red brain. Their green brain is still under development. Their lids flip a lot easier than grown-ups do. And people who have had hard life experiences have had early trauma and different things that have maybe kept some of those connections from developing, have less highway, less road between the blue brain and the green brain as well. So their lids are a lot more easy to flip. As a functioning grown-up, maybe we've all got our stuff, but we've got to keep it together for the sake of these kids. So keeping your calm is a really good proactive way to engage with these children and show them that you're safe and that you're trustworthy. Giving kind eyes and a smile. You know, there's some really amazing things that happen when you show kindness to a child through your eyes and through your smile, showing them, and it starts in the heart and moves up into your face, and the thoughts and the beliefs that they're doing the best they can, shown through kind eyes and a smile. It actually releases some oxytocin in the brains of children. It's an attachment hormone that boosts their sense of trust and connection to you just by showing them some kind eyes. And they also get a release of some dopamine and some endorphins that kill pain. It's an amazing process that happens just by you showing compassion and kindness through your eyes and through your smile. So remember, be aware of your facial expressions and give as much positivity as you can to these children. When you feel frustrated, like I said, we've all got our stuff, we've all got our triggers. If you notice that you are getting a little amped up in the moment or the situation is a little stressful for you, this is where you choose to keep your composure as an adult. Dr. Becky Bailey has this great phrase, be a star. STAR stands for smile, take a breath, and relax. When the world does not go your way, be a star. When you're feeling frustrated, smile. These muscles, when you smile, send a signal to your brainstem to activate the parasympathetic nervous system that actually calms down the body. So smiling triggers calm within you. Taking a deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth, and relax. It shoots oxygen up to that frontal lobe of the brain. It slows down the breathing. That also sends a message to your nervous system that you're going to be okay. And when they see you breathing calmly, that there's mirroring neurons in the brain of a child that will see what you're doing and will mimic it. And it's amazing to see this happen when you are getting yourself calm. Children will follow. So star, be a star, smile, take a breath, and relax. Also, a thing you can do is be really predictable with children. Don't do things that are startling or that are really abrupt, even movements. I've got my little guy on there with the megaphone. Kind of announce what you're doing. If you're needing to move over to another end of the room really quickly, just announce it. Hey, I'm walking right over here to the other side of the room there. That helps children feel safe, who sometimes sporadic movements or loud noises or quick, abrupt things that are happening in their environment can trigger some of that trauma response that may send their nervous system into that fight or flight too. So just being aware of how you're moving around these children, be aware of it, and be predictable in what's happening. So even things like ending your time with them, make that predictable. Don't spring it on them like, oh, sorry, it's time to go right now. We got to go. That's not predictable. Announce it. We're going to be leaving in about 10 minutes, in about 5 minutes, about 2. Oh, look, it's about time to go now. Be predictable. Also, keep it playful. that the last thing you want to do is get into power struggles with children. If they're in that fight or flight, or they're even in the emotional state, they're going to be looking for, are you safe or not? Do you get me? Are you connected with me or not? And if you move into this power and control stance of, I'm going to make you do this, that's a good recipe for a power struggle. So if you recognize some things that are a little bit on the edge, like if a kid's feeling really frustrated and they start kicking and stomping their feet, instead of saying, no, we don't do that in here, well, they obviously do. They just did. And you're setting yourself up for a power struggle. So if you notice kicking and stomping of the feet, make a game out of it. Whoa, it looks like your feet have a lot of energy in them right now. You've got maybe some feelings going on. Those feet are really needing to move. Let's see how fast those feet can move. I wonder how high those feet could jump right now. Let's see what they can do. All right. So keeping it playful is a good way to de-escalate the tension, and that also says, hey, they've got a plan. They know what's up. They're going to keep me safe. I'm going to be okay with them. Another thing you can do is provide choices. Kids, especially when they come into a new environment, if you say, hey, here's this brand new environment, you can do whatever you want. That may sound good for some kids or some people, but that can be overwhelming, and that it can trigger a stress response in kids. So even offering, hey, look at this room. There's a great big room here. You could start off by doing this or this or this. Which one works best for you? Give them some choices. That if they're in that blue brain state, blue brain works way, way better with choices. Remember, multiple choice than a great big essay question. What do I want to do with the rest of my time? Right? I could do this or this. Which works best for you? Also, keeping your directions positive as much as possible. Don't focus on what you don't want. Don't run. Don't hit. Don't shout. Those are all negatives. No, no, stop. That's going to trigger that kind of could send them right into fight or flight if that's led to a traumatic thing in the past. Even the tone of voice sometimes that you use could do that. So keeping it positive instead of don't run, tell them what you do want. I'd like for you to walk like this, and even just show them. Be positive. Be with them. Let them know. Stop hitting the wall. No hitting the wall. No, it's hey, we're going to keep our hands safe down at our sides like this. Let me show you. Do it with me, right? Let's do it. This is what I want you to do. So phrase it positively. And finally, get down on their level, especially if they're young children, small children. We're great big compared to them, and they're used to looking up at grown-ups, And if you get right down on your level, you're showing them, I'm safe. I'm with you. I'm not going to hurt you. I'm not within striking distance of you. Some children, they are aware of that. So being safe, being vulnerable, letting them know, even like that, hey, we've got some good eye contact. And if you're down on their level, you can give them a lot of kind eyes and good smiles as well. So those are some of the proactive things you can do. And if you do those, more than likely, things are going to go really well most of the time. If you notice that a child is starting to escalate and you need to do something kind of responsive, here's some compassionate, responsive techniques to de-escalate the stressful moment there. And the first one is the stretch the room technique. This is if you notice that the feeling's getting really big, you notice them, hey, whoa, those feelings are getting really big. Looks like they're maybe too big for the room right now. Why don't we stretch the room together? Take them over to the wall, show them how to do it. Put your hands against the wall and your feet down on the floor, and you're going to push. Let's push. Let's stretch. When a child's stress response is happening, the sympathetic nervous system is firing, and they go into fight or flight, and everything gets really tight and tense, and there's all that tension and energy that they're expected to just deal with. And it's really difficult for children. So giving them a way to positively expend that energy, push it out through the wall, through their legs, and then and it's another playful kind of technique that you can do with them. And that releases a lot of that tension, and it also kind of will help the parasympathetic to fire and to help them get back into that safe space. And you've made a connection with them because you're playing a game with them in the moment too. Star breathing, we already mentioned that one. You can teach this to children. Hey, if you're feeling upset, feeling stressed, smile, take a breath, and relax. If they're in that red brain, they're probably not going to be able to do it. You might need to do it for them. looks like you're feeling so upset. I'm going to take a couple of star breaths for you. I'm going to take 3 of them. Here I go. You can join me if you'd like, right? You always invite, you never tell them. You never tell them, now you need to go take a star breath, right? That tone, the action, it's keying them up to resist. Let them know, hey, here's an option. You can take a star breath. And if they can't smile, they can even push their cheeks up. And it's funny, you can play a little push the cheeks up game with them. That does the same thing. It stimulates that part of the smile reflex there that helps them calm. So star breathing is a technique. The next one, the butterfly hug. So this one takes a little bit of technique here. So you're going to do a handshake, link your thumbs, handshake and miss, link your thumbs, and here's your butterfly. And you're going to let that butterfly flutter down to your heart, and it's going to tap left, right, left, right. This is a technique called bilateral stimulation. It's actually working with, so that the right and the left hemispheres of your brain are also thinking and feeling hemispheres, and sometimes one gets a little overactive, and if our feeling brain is so active that it shuts down, it's not talking to our thinking brain anymore, this technique stimulates both sides of the brain simultaneously, thinking, feeling, and it helps them to connect and re-engage, so the feelings that you're feeling can be made sense of with some thought. But for kids, it just feels like, hey, we're playing this funny butterfly little game, and it's playful, it's memorable, and it's something that you can pair it with some breathing. For some children, that's very, very soothing. Next is the magic mustache. This one is it's an acupressure point. So you hold down here for 10 seconds. Hey, let's do our magic mustache together. Take a deep breath at the end. It also releases calm within the body, but another playful technique to use. The next one's the 5 things game. It's engaging the senses. If a child especially is feeling very anxious, and their movements are very erratic, and they're kind of maybe even dissociating a little bit, losing touch with the here and now, and maybe stuck in some memories. Getting them in touch with the here and now by connecting with their senses. What are 5 things that you can see right now? Tell me. Let's do this together. What are some 5 things you can hear right now? Let me know what those are. Can you hear 5 things? Can you feel 5 things around you? And just kind of walk your way through the senses, and it helps them kind of reconnect in that moment with their surroundings and with the here and now. The next one is a technique. This comes from Dr. Becky Bailey also, the DNA technique. It stands for describe, name the feeling, and acknowledge. Acknowledge what's going on for them. So this one, it's kind of fun too, because you get to do a little play acting with the kids. You're going to show them what you see. You're going to describe what their face looks like. And so if they're really frustrated, let's say that it's coming close to the end of the time that you're spending with them, and they're having a hard time with it because you've been providing all these great, compassionate and warm times, and they're feeling really close and good, and it's like, oh no, this is all going to end, and their face starts to get kind of sad and kind of frustrated, and you'll notice, oh wow, your face is going like this. When you do that, something fun will kind of happen, is that they want to see what your face is doing. Like, what's that grown up doing? What does my face look like? Almost without fail, their eyes will come back to you and look at your face and say, oh, what are they doing? And when they do that, you've got their eyes. All right, so you show them your face is doing this. When you have their eyes, you're going to pause, breathe, wish them well, smile back at them. And that a lot of times that you'll see that the face turn back into a little playful smile as well, because you're downloading your calm into their body in that moment. You're letting them know that they're connected, they're known, they're safe. You know how they feel. Then you're going to name the feeling. You look really sad right now. You look kind of frustrated. And then you're going to acknowledge what you're going to guess. What is it that they're feeling that this for? I wonder if you're feeling sad because our time is coming to an end, and you've had such a good time, and it's very hard for you to leave right now. There you go. Describe, name the feeling, and acknowledge. And at that point, it's a great time to segue into the last one, which is offering up some choices. You've got their eyes. They're feeling a little bit more connected. I wonder if you'd like to carry out these new things that you have on your own, or if you'd like for me to carry them for you. when you leave, right? Empower them, give them some choices. They get to choose how this is going to end for them. Or you could let them choose, how are we, you're feeling, yeah, your face is going like this. You're feeling sad. I wonder if you're feeling sad because our time is ending. Would you like to end our time by giving a high five or fist bump or just a big, great big smile? How do you want to end our time together? Offer some choices for them to end the time. So offering choices is, again, a great way to acknowledge, let them know that you understand what's going on in their perspective and that you're offering some solutions. You're letting them borrow your green brain in that moment to give them some good solutions for what to do next there. So I'm so thankful that you've watched this and that you're spending time with these wonderful, great kiddos in our community. If you'd like some more resources, feel free to visit the website trueinsightparent.com. There's a lot more free videos and resources that you could use to broaden your tools and your perspectives on how to work with kids who have had some challenging times going on. But I'm so thankful that you're there for them, and I hope you have a really, really wonderful time that you get to spend with these really, really special people. Thanks a lot.